Coming up in the show, I'm going to discuss the pros and cons of publishing exclusive to the KDP Select program versus going wide as a new author. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Authorpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, thriller writer Amelia D. Hay. On this podcast, I will bring you writing, book marketing, and self-publishing advice so that you can create your dream author business, build your author platform, and be creatively independent. You can find the episode show notes and lots more information on the podcast page at ameliahay.com/podcast. Hello writers. Over the years, there has been a big push by some well-meaning people to avoid putting all your eggs in one basket and publish your books to all platforms or go wide. But is this the best advice for a new author? In this episode, I'm going to discuss the difference between going wide and enrolling in the KDP Select program and what you need to consider before deciding. And at the end of this section of the podcast, I'm going to share 3 actionable steps to help you decide which option is right for you. After that, in the second part of the podcast, I'm going to share with you a short behind-the-scenes author diary update. As always, I've decided to devote an entire episode to this topic because, like you, I'm on the fence about whether to go wide or be exclusive to Amazon. All of the content in this episode has come from my own research to help me make the right choice for my books. The research that I've put into this show includes listening to what others have to say, reading the terms and conditions of the KDP Select program, and reading blog posts and paying attention to what other self-published authors are doing. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Going wide is defined as publishing your books on all the available online platforms and not being exclusive to Amazon. For those of you who are new to self-publishing, going wide includes platforms such as Kobo, Apple Books, Google Play, Nook, and the multitude of smaller online stores specific to certain regions. But you don't have to upload your books to all of these platforms individually. This is where aggregators such as Draft2Digital, Publish Drive, and Smashwords come in handy. Before I dive into the pros and cons of going wide, I just wanted to point out that this list is by no means exhaustive. I've purposely tried to keep it short. If you're this way inclined, I recommend you do this activity for yourself. I recently did this with a bit of research, and the result came up surprisingly even or very close. But without further ado, here is the list of pros for publishing wide. Number 1, greater control over pricing. You can price for free everywhere else but Amazon. Now that I've said this, you can ask Amazon to price match your book, but it can sometimes take up to 72 hours. Number 2, a perma-free first in a series book works for a marketing-wide strategy. Number 3, the ability to sell direct to your readers. Number 4, publishing helps you reach a worldwide audience of English-speaking readers. Number 5, you can sell books on Google Play. As of 2019, Google has 1 billion users through the Android operating system. Number 6, going wide gives you the ability to reach the mobile-first economy. And number 7, you can enroll an ebook into a library program. And now for the cons of publishing wide. Number 1, you need an email list to be successful in publishing wide. Number 2, you have to upload your ebook to multiple platforms, and as a result, changes or updates need to be made multiple times. Number 3, availability does not equal sales. Number 4, publishing wide means you need to pay to play, but Amazon is starting to become this way as well. Number 5, it takes a while to build momentum on the stores. Number 6, if you publish wide, you will get a 35% royalty rate in these smaller markets on Amazon instead of the 70% which is available to KDP Select authors, and I'm referring to smaller markets like the Amazon store for Japan. What is Kindle Unlimited? Kindle Unlimited is a subscription service where for $9.99 US or $7.99 British pounds, a reader can download a maximum of 10 books at a time, but you can technically read an unlimited amount of books, magazines, and audiobooks. As an author, to enroll in the Kindle Unlimited program, you need to tick the KDP Select box in your author dashboard. One of the most controversial aspects of this program is the need to be exclusive to Amazon, and thus gives rise to the much heated debate of KDP versus Going Wide. How does Kindle Unlimited work? The interesting thing about the Kindle Unlimited reading program is it gives readers the impression that books are free. Because the reader doesn't click a button every month or pay per book, it can give the impression of a risk-free purchase. This illusion of a risk-free purchase is what helps a reader decide to take a chance on a novel by a new author. Now that I've given you a brief overview of the KDP Select program and Kindle Unlimited for readers, it is time to dig a little deeper and look at the pros and cons of being exclusive to Amazon's KDP Select. Number 1, you need to be exclusive to Amazon for 90 days. Depending on how you look at this first point, the exclusivity period could either be a pro or a con. Number 2, Kindle Unlimited has a pool of people who read lots of books in specific genres. Number 3, readers can try a new author risk-free if you're a part of the KU program, even if you have 0 reviews, because readers perceive your book as free. Number 4, reads are weighed the same as sales and contribute to the book's sales rank. Number 5, the program gives you access to promotional tools such as 5 free days and countdown deals. Number 6, bonuses are available to top sellers. Number 7, you can receive top royalty rates in all markets. And number 8, the process of distributing your ebook is easier because you have to upload your ebook to one place. And now for the cons of being exclusive to Amazon. Number 1, in regards to the terms, you must choose between a countdown deal or a free promotion every 90 days, but you can still manually change your book's price. The terms make it harder to have freedom over the price of the ebook. To use the countdown deal, the book must be left at a price for 30 days before starting the deal and 14 days after the countdown price change. So 30 days before the start of the countdown deal and 14 days after, which I found that was really interesting. And that's a direct quote from the terms and conditions. Number 3, unfortunately, there are lots of scammers in KDP Select. It's a scammer magnet, but Amazon is cracking down on these scammers. Number 4, due to the exclusivity clause, you cannot distribute an ebook enrolled in KDP Select to libraries. Number 5, you are not paid in royalties, but are paid according to pages read. The amount is decided by Amazon, and it tends to decrease every year. My best advice for you is to consider your goals before you decide. Define what you want to achieve before you press publish. It's easy to get caught up in the debate and not consider what you want. Do you want to make your book available to family and friends? Or do you want to make a living as a writer? What you want as your end result will determine which path you take. But before you create a marketing plan, consider whether your goal is realistic. I know I'm being a bit of a killjoy, but you're not going to make a living with one book. One book is not going to make you the next Nora Roberts or Stephen King. It's a slow build. And that slow build is really irrelevant to whatever path you take, whether you take the key KDP Select path or the Going Wide. It's still going to be a slow build either way. What steps do you need to take to help you achieve your goals? For those of you who are not sure, in order to make book sales, you need to build the know, like, and trust factor with your target audience. In short, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. But luckily for you, online stores have a dedicated review section. So your first step should be to figure out how to get your first 10 reviews, not selling your first 10,000 books. Forget about book sales for now and focus on reviews. So how do I know this? It's as similar thing with selling a service. You need to build the know, like, and trust factor and collect testimonials. Sometimes this means giving away something for free, like 3 free coaching sessions in exchange for a review. This is why people harp on about having a street team or a team of advanced readers. For those of you who are unfamiliar with these terms, a street team are a group of readers who get your book for free and leave a review when it's published. I just want to preface this next section by pointing out that I'm not having a go at anyone in particular or being mean-spirited. That's not my intention here. Nevertheless, over the years, there are a few things I've noticed that I think is important to share with you in order to help you make a choice that's right for you. Before you choose your side in this debate and choose to go wide or publish exclusively with KDP Select, there are a few things you need to know. Sadly, not everyone who promotes going wide is completely honest about how they achieve their success. It's not always a deliberate lack of honesty. Quite often when you've been doing something for a while, it can be difficult to remember what it's like when you first start out. People who promote going wide and not putting all your eggs in one basket have a few things in common. And these are, but not limited to, a rep at one of the stores like Kobo or Apple, a large backlist of books, other streams of income outside book sales, a small number of books or a series already in KDP Select for a specific reason. They started self-publishing before KDP Select existed during a time where the marketplace was less competitive. Have a huge email list of fans who are waiting for their books to be released. Have money and time to invest in pay-per-click advertising. They have help, aka an author assistant or a team of virtual assistants to help the author do all of the tasks in their business. As a brand new author, you'll have none of those things. And I'm not saying that having those things is bad, but they do make going wide easier. Yes, pursuing a career as an author should be about paying attention to the long game and not short-term profits. Nevertheless, sales should not be your first priority. Overcoming obscurity is actually more important than short-term or even long-term sales. How to decide whether KDP Select or going wide is right for you. Choosing to publish wide or enrolling in KDP Select should not come down to creative freedom or being scared that Amazon may change the rules. It should be about serving your readers. So are your readers enrolled in KU or are they wide? As an author, it's your job to do the research and figure out where these readers are before you make a decision. And most importantly, as of November 22nd, 2019, the exclusivity period is only 90 days. You're not signing your book to the program for its entire lifespan. It's not an all or nothing decision. You can change your mind and opt out at the end of the period. And one final point, consider how the other platforms work. Amazon is a giant recommendation engine and thus provides a tailored experience to every user, whereas the other online stores are not algorithm based, but are essentially the online version of a physical bookstore. In saying that, some online retailers are starting to have recommended reads, but it's not the same beast as Amazon. So what does this mean for you, the new author? The front pages of the non-Amazon stores are highly curated. You're seeing the books the store wants you to see instead of what you want to buy. Sure, you may wander into a physical bookstore and find a few books, but with a recommendation engine like Amazon, I always end up buying a book that I like when I go to the site. For instance, as I was researching the British pound price for KU for this episode, I purchased 4 books purely from the Amazon homepage, and it was just me seeing these books in the recommendation section, and I forget what it's called, but I saw these books and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And it's obviously based on my history about what books I've purchased, and they can sort of smell a theme almost. And so I was doing research. I had no intention of buying, and I brought 4 books. So that's what I mean by Amazon being a recommendation engine. To help you get the most out of this episode, I've created a 3-step process to help you decide whether publishing with KDP Select or going wide is right for you. Step number 1, create your own pro-con list for publishing exclusive and wide based on your own research. Step 2, look at the books in your genre on Amazon. How many self-published books are in the Kindle Unlimited program? After this, look at the books in your genre on the other platforms. How many books are self-published? Step 3, now consider, do you have an email list of fans? If not, are you prepared to build an email list of fans in your genre before you hit publish? It's worth pointing that if you're yet to release your first book, your time will be better spent writing a great book and building a fan base as you release. But nothing's stopping you from creating a reader magnet in the same genre or series as your book and trying to build an email list with pay-per-click advertising on something like Facebook. As you look back at your answers to these steps, you should have a good indication of which program is right for you. And remember, it's easy to go from KDP Select to wide distribution than the other way around. That fact is purely based on Amazon's exclusivity clause. My best advice to you is to ride the KDP Select dragon as long as it serves you. And when it starts becoming less effective, then by all means, create a new strategy and publish wide. But give it some time and create a marketing strategy because you're not going to see results instantly. It takes time to see if it's working for you or not. As always, I have an important question to ask you. Where are you in the KDP Select versus going wide debate? Do you plan on trying out KDP Select or do you want to go wide? Let me know by coming over to the show notes at ameliahay.com/BTS023 and share your thoughts in the comments section. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this topic. Thank you for listening and happy reading and writing, everybody. Coming up in this behind the scenes author diary update, I'm going to discuss where I'm at in the publishing process for Missing, my thoughts and plans on how I'll self-publish my crime thriller, a few marketing ideas, and creating an Easter egg for Missing. So stay tuned. Coming up next on the show is Amelia's Behind the Scenes podcast diary. It's an exclusive look at the behind the scenes misadventures of the 30-something thriller writer. Discover how close she is to releasing her latest novel, hear exciting details about upcoming writing projects, and discover the lessons she has learned along her writing journey so you don't have to make the same mistakes. So make sure that you stick around. And if you don't, have a great day and thank you for listening. Since the last podcast diary update episode, which was episode, I think it was BTS021, because BTS022 was an Ask Me Anything on writing and editing, self-editing, yes. So since that last episode, Missing was in the line editing phase. I've since received feedback from the 3-chapter edit, and I decided to hire a full line edit. The second line edit was completed by a different editor from a different company, and I've sent the manuscript back for one more round. I don't want to spend too long in this stage of making changes and sending it back. Maybe this is my age showing, but over the years I've become a more self-aware person, and I want to avoid the temptation of perfecting my story. Perfection isn't possible, and it's a trap for me, so I plan on avoiding trap. After this, I will submit the manuscript for a final proofread. And I am aware that when I submit that my manuscript for a proofread, that it will just sit in a line and I'll have to wait for when the book is available. So I have no idea how long that will be. I just have to wait. At present, while I'm waiting for feedback, I'm creating a book marketing and launch plan for Missing. There's a part of me that wants to press the publish button and go back to writing, but I know I'm not going to attract readers by doing this. I have to market my book. And I don't want to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. I won't go into too much detail here about my marketing plan because I want to devote an entire episode to this. So in terms of book marketing, I'm thinking about creating my own book trailer for Missing. This means I'll have to storyboard the entire film. I have to admit, this is something that I'm looking forward to doing. But before I can do this, I need to make a crucial decision. The biggest topic on my mind is I'm considering changing the name of Missing to something else because there's another thriller author with a book with the same title. It sucks because the title is perfect for my book. Honestly, I have no idea about what I'm going to do with this one. As I alluded to in the first part of this episode, I'm struggling to decide whether to publish exclusive to Amazon or go wide. I'm going to take the plunge and try KDP Select and see if it works. My plan is to enroll for 90 days at a time and regularly reassess whether it's working for me or not. On top of this, I'm considering selling direct for 30 days or using Patreon before I enroll in KDP Select. But that tactic does seem like a ton of trouble. Maybe Patreon is the better option of the two. As you can hear, I'm just completely undecided. During the break between season 1 and 2, I wrote and revised the first draft of a short story titled The Lawn. The Lawn will be an Easter egg within Missing. As the reader turns the pages of the ebook or paperback, they will reach a point where they will see a footnote with a link to a short story about an event referenced to within this current scene. The short story will be free to download and the reader will get an opportunity to become a James Bond insider. This is what I'm choosing to call my reader club. I've even created a book cover for the short story using the book cover design course with Stuart Bache from Books Covered by the Self-Publishing Formula. At present, I'm deciding whether I should commission a line edit. Now that I've said this out loud, I'm going to pay for an edit. It just sounds super dodgy otherwise. In all honesty, I'm literally making these plans as I'm recording the episode. So in terms of commissioning an edit for the short story, I'll write a few short stories and then get them edited all at the same time like an anthology. But it won't be an anthology. I will have 2 short stories as reader magnets. I'll advertise one and the second one will be like a bonus short story. And obviously one of those will be the bonus short story for Missing. Yeah, so I'll just put a pile of them in the one document. I think the short stories will be about 5,000 words each. So if I sort of keep it under 30,000 words, I'll put 6 of them in there. The cost of the editing should be quite low. So that's the condensed version of what I've been up to between season 1 and 2. In the next episode, I will discuss the steps you need to take to self-publish your first book after you've finished revising your story. So stay tuned for that episode. Thanks for listening and happy reading and writing, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Authorpreneur podcast. If you love this episode, then hit the subscribe button and leave a review on your favourite podcasting app. I'm your host, Amelia D. Hay, and I'll see you next week for another episode.